Morning everyone, how are we doing? Today I figured we'd go over some speculations for the new hero that's coming out in front about around June, right? The Ling Dao. I know that these leaks are most likely fake, but I haven't talked about Frona in a while, so we're doing it. Mostly focusing on weapon speculations. That said, in Chinese culture, Ling Dao is a universal term for an executive, boss, or anyone's direct superior, which, among other things, is mainly taken to mean leader. Ling Dao is commonly used to address managers and executives today, but in ancient Chinese antiquity, been used quite frequently to address, anyone's superior, including those leading the country. For honor, this guy is likely to be in command of a significant portion of the Wulin's forces, for the law's sake, which is probably going to mean something along the lines of new Wulin maps, potentially even Wulin minion, and potentially even adding the Wulin faction to the faction war. To be honest with you, I sort of lost interest in the faction war after the samurai lost in season 3 again, and we pretty much have the faction war we have now, where the Vikings pretty much own the entire thing. I mean, the faction war to me has never really felt like something you can affect that much, and I've never had that much interest in it, but hey, maybe they'll use this chance to revamp the system. And I suppose it could also mean buffs for some of the weaker Wielded heroes as well. Now for the meat and potatoes. So, first weapon we have here, a lot of people seem to think it could potentially be, we have the free section staff. Now, typically, it's a little shorter than a normal Chinese staff or gun. The free section staff brings versatility, acting as a whip in long range, a flail or two-section staff in mid-range, and a pair of eskimo at close range, which are like fighting sticks, right? And it can be used to disarm or trap enemies, trap their weapons, choke an enemy, block strikes, of course, and strike with different parts of the weapon, doing that at the same time as well. Some even say that the weapon was used in combat to get around shields and tangle horses, but there's technically no historical evidence to support that, and for all the cool things going with this weapon, it's harder to use and train with than, say, a spear. And it also has no sharp edges, so you can see why enough people haven't taken the chance on the field. Now, the flail part can be unruly in its own way, not as much as your European flail, but that is there. And the close range variant has the central pole stationary, with the other two attachments in each hand, so there's no control issue in that sense, in that stance. And in the other modes, though, the recoil from a blow can waste even a master's time in order to regain control of the weapon, so that could mean higher than normal recoveries, or, that should be translated in the recoveries. Now, it could revamp some of the gimmicky mechanics in the game, like Shinobi's ranged attacks and Nusha's disarm, but gimmicks are gimmicks, right? So they always have that chance to be not that great or not that nice to deal with anyways. And he could also potentially be a multi-stance user, meaning a pretty beefy kit, even though those that have had a pretty beefy kit haven't necessarily been all that great, or they have been totally great, so yeah. It's unlikely to be the actual hero because the weapon isn't exactly something where the users tend to spam dodge quite a lot. A lot of the practitioners seem to be quite stationary with this weapon, and the hero that's being teased definitely has dodges, so maybe not, but maybe. I guess we'll have to see. Now, the more likely candidate for whatever weapons these are going to be are duo swords, namely because the character seems to be dual-wielding some sort of weapon or holding two weapons in the teaser. Shuangjian are double straight swords, also called Yuan Yangjian, loving couple swords, and appeared as early as the Qin dynasty. These swords could fit neatly into one scabbard, back to back, and were designed in a way that made them appear to be one sword while sheathed. Both swords would have a flat side and a ridged side to, of course, make this work. And so, yeah, not that it really matters whether we can sheath weapons or not, because we don't actually run around with sheaths. We sort of just put our weapons to the side and just have them magically float there, or at least Orochi does. So, Shuangda were a double saber variant, and some of these types of weapons usually saw use by martial artists living as street performance, but some versions of these dual-wielded swords saw actual combat scenarios. Some may have carried them merely for self-defense, and the Green Standard Army may have used them as well. They were a body of Chinese troops that was used for peacekeeping and would turn to their blades if they were a body of Chinese troops that were used to peacekeeping, but they've used their double blades if their gunpei, a large thick felt cloth, failed to protect them from arrows or musket balls. And it wasn't exactly a guarantee that the gunpei could in fact do that, so they were taking a risk, and thanks to that risk they were paid pretty well apparently. There's also a lot of movement in the martial arts moves used with these weapons, and considering that we're getting a lot of dodging attacks, and the Wielded in general, like their gimmicky thing across all of their characters seems to be dodge attacks, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the weapon that it's gonna be a thing. Now, one of the advantages with dual wielding weapons is that you can sort of have an enemy trapped with one sword and sort of attack with the other, right? Or challenge them with the other. And it seems like we're going to have like different directions you can launch attacks from when you dodge. How great this is gonna be, I guess we'll have to see. But hey, they're still trying to make dodge. But yeah, that was more or less the video and everything I have for you on Ling Dao. What do you think those weapons are going to be? And are you excited for the new hero? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and slap out a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. But till the next video, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.